Okay, everybody, so welcome back. This is Ian from Mindful Marketplace. It is the 13th of May, 2022, and a day or two ago, I recorded a short video featuring this little mini site for creating affiliate marketing, like microsites or directories, authority sites that you can build in really any niche, market, vertical, industry, locality. It's an alternative to WordPress that is really, really useful and skillful for building online assets and doing them very quickly, and then creating these sorts of sites really in an afternoon that you can either sell, flip, monetize in a bunch of cool and creative ways. You can use if you're a digital media brand or an online agency. Let's say you're a web designer and you're looking to sell web design services. You can build let's say your target audience is sushi restaurants. For an example, you could build a directory of sushi restaurants in your city, your state, your town, your resort, wherever it is that you live, and then you can essentially offer those, same services you already do, but in conjunction with that, you can also offer them priority of placement in a high profile directory that you build really in an afternoon. That'll give you a competitive advantage in your, against somebody else who doesn't have the same sort of authority site, little community directory like this one, etc. One of the things that people ask, though, is about the different aesthetic or visual styling that can be applied to these sites. Some of you are much more interested in the more conventional, like My Listing, Listable, Listify, Listing Pro sort of, kind of visual presentation with that hero image, the search field, the search forms and fields at the top. So I'm just going to show you really quickly two things. One, I'm going to show you how to modify this directory structure really, really quickly without code. And then two, I'm going to give you a really great idea to build viral sort of network effects into this style site. And I'm going to do both of those right now. So the first thing you want to do is this is, if you can see on the left-hand side, this is really the control panel for your entire directory. And we're going to go to display elements. Actually, I lied. We're not going to go to, we're going to go to customize the library instead. And as you can see, it brings up this very simple selector on the left-hand side. All we're going to do is select a different visual presentation, and it's going to apply that style to the directory that you're looking at now, which will then give it a completely different aesthetic. All right, so let's say we want to go to Hub. So now you can see this is styled in a more of a, let me save that. Let me get rid of that. And if I preview this now, you'll see there's just a completely different styling that's more for like a digital download sort of community, which, oh, by the way, you can also do those sorts of directories as well with this community or this software simply by uploading your own, downloads, your own products. All right, but let's go back and let's customize it in a more conventional sort of way. So this is the more kind of big hero image, searchable categories, formats. We save this and we preview this. You're going to see it looks much more akin to the sort of directory that many of you are familiar with on something like WordPress. If we go into display elements, you can see I'm now adding more content, text and description, etc., etc. All this is very easy to modify, and you can just continue to toggle through the different formats here. So it looks, again, more like a conventional directory that you may be used to building. Now, I will also say a lot of this is superfluous, kind of, non-necessary overthinking that many of us do when building these sorts of sites. I really recommend not overthinking this piece all that much and just building, right? I see a lot of people, myself included, who often spend way too much time thinking through all the various aesthetics, the design heuristics. All that stuff is a lot less important than just building these quickly and essentially coming up with cool and creative ways to monetize them. You can monetize these in two ways. One is an income generation piece, like selling services behind these, or two, as just online assets where you're building all these micro directories to sell, to flip, to use as virtual real estate, to build a portfolio that you can sell in mass later on. So you have 30, 50 sites that you're selling to to an outside agency or an outside entrepreneur, and there's so many cool and creative ways of doing that. Um, we're not going to cover that here. I'm just going to revert this now back to the original style. But I want to give you a really simple way of adding some viral fun into this process. So to build this, network effects is probably the wrong description if you look at a technical description of what network effects refer to. But essentially what we're looking at is leveraging people in a smart and strategic way to spread the word about your directory. So one of the things that you can do is, let's say you live in Delray Beach, Florida, and you want to create a small directory like this one of the 20 recommended businesses in June 2022 across a multitude of different categories, right? So let's say you want the best sushi restaurant, the best bar, the best martini bar, the best Italian restaurant, the best pizza place, the best florist, the best car detailer, the best whatever it is, right? You just compile a list of the best of in your community. One of the things that you can do, but it's the important piece of this for the viral network effect element, is to only have one per category, right? You can only, using what I'm about to share with you, have one idea or one listing per category. And let's say you could either do this yourself, you could seed the site yourself, or you can actually invite people to pay for a, quote unquote, premium listing to be featured as the best pizza place in June, the best Italian, the best sushi, the best designer, the best hotel, whatever it may be. And then all you're going to do is you're going to go into, let me see where it is. Is it here? It's not here. Let me see. It's here. So this is where you can, I demonstrated this in the last video, but you can actually embed these directories in other places. Like in the last video, if you watch it on the 11th or 10th of May, I demonstrated how to do this in our Ghost membership site. So you take this script and you can embed it wherever you want. Now, one of the key piece here is that you can say to that pizza place, I'm going to give you the script for the directory that you can now you can share this on your own website, on your own blog, in your own community, featuring yourself as the number one recommended, sushi, pizza, designer, dental, whatever it may, whatever the best of list is comprised of, and now these folks can actually share by dint of copying this code. Let's see if I go to enlighten up. All right, so if you look at our own community, you'll see that directory is embedded on our membership site, right? So you're looking at this, and this is a video I did the other day, but it's obviously still here, so you can see it today as well. And all of these listings are searchable and are in a blog post titled "7 E-commerce storefronts for selling digital downloads." Well, you could do the same thing. the 20 best, 20 picks for Delray Beach, Florida in June of 2022, and just give all of your selections this code that they can then embed on their own site, and then they can share that with their own friends, their own family, their own fans, their own followers, their own clients, their own, in their own sort of publicity that they've been selected as the best pizza place in June 2022. They've been selected as the best, car detailer in Delray Beach in June of 2022, and they have this searchable directory on their own site where they're featured, right? They're actually doing the heavy lifting for you of promoting your community to their own audience. And of course, if you did this on a monthly basis, right, people may not keep the directory up forever because, well, then again, who knows? I mean, they may. If you'd have to then create a new one for June, a new one, or excuse me, a new one for July, a new one for August, a new one for September, etc. Otherwise, that code that we just looked at would update with the newer listings that you added for that next month, unless, of course, the people wanted to continue to pay to be the featured place, month after month after month after month. All right, this is all very, very simple stuff. It's much easier to do all this than it is to do this on WordPress. It's much speedier. It requires much less cognitive overhead. You can literally just add the listings by going to add resource and then picking the type of resource it is. If it's an external URL, which is what I generally, like, I just suppressed a burp there, but generally this is what I use here. You can also upload files, and if I click on this, you'll see, it'll give me the ability to upload digital downloads, etc., that I want to offer to my audience. And of course, now my computer is going to start to freeze up because that's generally what happens when I'm recording these live without a net. All right, so that's pretty much it for today. If you're interested in building a business using this model, I'm going to be leading a cohort later this month in May. It'll be about 7 days, and we'll be going into this model in a lot of detail in a private environment where there'll be maybe 7 to 10 of us, and you'll actually get everything you need from me to succeed using this approach, including my personal direction with your particular set of circumstances. So if you're interested in joining that, send me an email, mindfulmarketplace@gmail.com. I may actually do this again in June as well. So if you're listening to this and it's filled up by then, I may do another cohort in June, contingent upon interest. And again, I recommend this model highly. It's a lot easier than WordPress. There's no other moving parts or pieces other than your own entrepreneurial intuitions and imagination and ability to actually do the work, which is something that far too few of us actually are willing to do. So teach what you know, do what you love, wake up the world with your work. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. If you're interested in joining us, feel free to click on the link below, and then it'll lead you to our new course community where you'll see an option to sign up for the next cohort. Thanks again, and have a great day.